political argument between the parties here where they're going to come together and use political leverage to basically try to destroy the other side. And we may get caught in the middle of that, and it's not going to be a pretty situation. So let me explain super fast here what went on the other day and where we're currently at as of right now. Now, a few days ago, I think it was on Tuesday. It was on Tuesday, I had a video out, and they were voting in the House of Representatives to pass an extension of about 2 months, which is called a CR, continuing resolution, or they call it a stopgap bill, to basically keep the federal government funded at the current levels that they are as of right now from October 1st all the way out until December 4th was the legislation. Now, it passed in the House of Representatives. The vote came in 220 over 205. So obviously that passed, and now it goes on to the Senate, okay? So it's not done yet. It is in the Senate, and they will likely be amending some things and making some changes to it. So it's certainly not over yet. Now, let's pop this article up here now. Feel free to read through the details on this. Let me explain exactly what this means. Okay, now, do we care about this all that much? I'm going to be fair with you. Don't really care about it all that much, except for the fact that the timing on this is very, very interesting, as it is every single year. But then we also have some other elements that we need to take into consideration, which is the midterm election, which is early November. Okay. Now, as I explained the other day on Tuesday when I had that video talking about the vote coming in, let's just take a little trip down memory lane for just a second here. What happened last year, October and the first half of November? October 1st, government shutdown. All of October, government shutdown. The first half of November, what happened? Government shutdown, and food stamps were not paid for the first half of November. It was a bad situation, okay? I covered that in multiple live streams at the time and in videos. It was back and forth. The Supreme Court was getting involved. It was a bad, bad situation. I think we all recognize that. If you're on food stamps, you know and you remember this. Now, I'm not suggesting this will happen again this year, but I'm also not saying that it's not going to happen. Here's why I'm saying this. Being a midterm election year, obviously the midterm election is right away in early November. Lawmakers are passing this legislation now to potentially avoid a government shutdown, which would start October 1st. Now, I'm going to be fair. I'm filming this video in the end of July. It's end of July right now, 2026. We still have like 2 months to go, 2 months and a handful of days to go before a potential government shutdown. So it's not like it's here right now. Not this week, not even this month, but about in, 2 months, call it, from right now. So we still have time. But remember, in just a couple weeks from right now, lawmakers are leaving on their summer recess. They're going to leave for about a month until they come back in, early to mid-September, and then they'll cram at the last minute to try to get something done. Now, this is a proactive approach to keep the government funded all the way out until December 4th. Here is what I'm concerned about. Being a midterm election, okay, I'm just going to say this, okay, I'm not trying to make this a political video, I'm just saying let's look at the facts is what we need to do when it comes down to politics, because we know that there's a lot of deception, a lot of lies, and just slimy business that goes on with politics. Here's what we do know. Republicans control everything right now. The House, the Senate, obviously the presidency. But here's the deal. Considering that the midterm election is in early November, and a government shutdown could happen as early as October 1st. It may be in the best interest of Democrats to not come together on a deal to possibly purposely shut down the government. And again, I'm not slamming either side either way. I'm just saying, politically speaking, it could be a smear tactic to come in and basically say, look, they're in control. They're the ones who shut it down. It's their fault again. So then we sail through October and into early November, potential government shutdown if they do not come together on this agreement here before they leave on vacation. And then we could be setting up for a nasty situation as the midterm elections are coming into play. People are going out to the polls and voting, and we may be in a potential government shutdown at that point. And then again, food stamps may, again, we don't know what's going to happen. I'm just saying, let's just talk through the scenario so that we are aware of what may possibly happen in the next couple months here. We may potentially be in a government shutdown, and food stamps could be getting whacked at that time again, just like we saw last year, where benefits were not paid in the first half of November. Now, going into a midterm election, would that look good for the party in control? No, does not look good at all, which is why, just to be fair, again, I'm trying to be as fair as I can here in this video. This is not meant to be a political video whatsoever, but rather it is something to look at the details, and we just need to understand the tactics behind what may happen, because we know how politics works. It gets kind of aggressive and it gets kind of nasty. But here's the thing. It may be a tactic in which if they go into this and shut the government down and have all this, nasty drama happening, it could set up for a lot of people to be very upset and disgruntled when they go to the polls and cast their vote, which may be the tactic used to flip the House or the Senate after the midterm election. Does that kind of make sense? Okay, so there is some tactic behind this, and like I said earlier, sometimes, unfortunately, we, the people, are caught in the middle of a nasty, dramatic girl fight called politics, okay? I don't know how else to say that in a nice way, but honestly, that's really what it comes down to. So anyway, that's kind of what we're at right as of right now. But either way, here's what we do recognize. The House of Representatives passed this, okay? Basically, all they're saying is that let's not do anything weird. Come on, people. Let's just come together and make an agreement. Let's get this past the midterm election. Let's push it out by 2 months and a few days out until December 4th. We will come back then, or before then, realistically, and pass the full year appropriations. And remember, the way that food stamps gets pulled into this is by the funding, the annual funding for food stamps. Remember, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, things like this, these do not go by annual appropriations out of the federal government. These are funded long term, as in they don't need annual appropriations from Congress to keep Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, defense spending, stuff like that. That's all mandatory. All of that stuff happens no matter what every single year. But when it comes down to food stamps, these go by federal funding every single year. So every single year, Congress needs to come together and say, we approve $100 billion or whatever it happens to be for food stamps. And that's the only way that those benefits get paid for the following year, which is why they're potentially subject to, non-payment after a potential government shutdown in October, is because they literally run out of money. Congress has not approved additional funding for the program. That's why we saw that situation happen last year for food stamps, is because they didn't approve more money for the new fiscal year, which starts October 1st. Do you see how this whole thing works? And again, I know that you recognize most of this, but I just want to play this all out for you and just clarify how food stamp beneficiaries could get caught in the middle of a nasty, political fight here, is really what it's going to come down to. And then it could be used as leverage to slam either side, the party, to get what the other side wants. Okay, so I'm just saying, food stamp benefits